What up, guys? Well, could finally put this TH400 back together. I got my pump gasket, so let's put this thing together. All right, we got Augustine, the trans specialist.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I'll put it together for you.
All right.
All right, so Craig got his gasket. So just put a little bit of grease on the flange of the 400, so once you put the gasket down, it doesn't move around on us. So just put this down like so. And generally they have like a little bit of paint on the gasket to show you which side is facing up. You just want to line this up best you can, then the bolts will line the rest up. Alright, here's our pump. Craig just got done for the trans brake kit. You have to pop this out and then change out the spring. And then inside there's a feed restrictor where you could buy these little set screws where you tap the pump, put the set screw in, and then it will restrict the amount of flow going to the pump or to the converter, so you don't wipe out your thrust bearings from so much pressure from the trans brake. So we got that all back together with a new seal, and just put this back in. So another trick you could do, just take a screwdriver and line up your bolt holes. So let's see the general, those two. So you got 2 holes right here, 2 holes right there, and you have 2 holes here and 2 holes here. So that should be the general direction.
Yeah, you got these lined up. I think this one, this goes on these 2 right here, right?
Yeah, those are the 2 close ones.
Yeah.
And you just take your screwdriver, line it up in the hole. And you're pretty lined up there. All the holes line up. And then you just put your screws in.
Excuse the garage, guys. There's a lot going on in here, so it's pretty dirty.
A lot of projects getting put together.
So after this, we just gonna do the whole trans brake.
The valve body.
Valve body.
Switch some of these components on the side out, and then it should be good. 9/16. Yeah. So we'll just snug these up, and then once we're ready, they get torqued to 18 foot-pounds.
I'm getting excited.
Alright, so I think first thing you gotta do is you take out the stock modulator. So once that's out, the kit comes with an O-ring that we already have put in there. And we put a little bit of RTV on there just to keep it from leaking. And then once you do that, you put this plug in there. This goes in like so. Seal. And then you have your stock cap. And you just snug that down, you're good to go. And next we have the reverse servo. So stock, take this out, and there's going to be a steel ring, almost like a piston ring right here that you take off, and then there's a rubber seal right here that you take off as well. So you do both of those for the trans brake kit. You just put it back together, put it in there. That's as tight as that one's getting. Alright guys, back with another update. So this is your pass-through connector for your trans brake kit. So basically when you hit your trans brake button, it sends an electrical signal in through here, into the case, into your trans brake solenoid to activate it. So it's a pass-through connector, and there's going to be a whole bunch of transmission fluid and oil going through here. So it comes with an O-ring, and then we put a little bit more RTV on there to stop it from leaking. So you just pop out your stock one and pop this one right in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to put RTV on them, but after a while they start leaking.
Yeah, so it's better just do it once and make sure you don't have any leaks.
So that just pop right in there, right?
Pops right in. Make sure your 3 tangs are touching the side of the case, and then give it a little tug and she's good to go.
Alright. So what we got next?
So next, you just put this cover back on. This is where the governor used to go, but on the trans brake, you just take the governor out and you don't use it anymore. So just need to put the cover on and keep it closed. This just goes like that.
I wonder how much time this trun's been rebuilt.
I don't know, they gave it a pretty good paint job. So someone cared a little bit about it. Okay. So last thing to do is just throw this valve body on here. So instead of having like a normal gasket, you have this steel plate. It's pretty soft material, so once you bolt everything down, it'll give you the seal that you need. So we're looking at the bottom side of the valve body right now. So one thing you need to do with this is it comes with a little check ball. It goes right here in this little square port right here. Yeah. And then you put the plate back on top. Flip it over. And she goes right here. Out of all the screws, you have one Allen head screw that goes right here, because this is the only one that's underneath the solenoid that the kit comes with. So the head on the bolt's a bit different. Alright, so once you get your Allen head bolt screwed in, you can put the solenoid on, and that's where your last 3 bolts go. So your 2 long ones go up top here. And then this last long one goes here. Or short one. And then you have one last threaded section here, and that's where the bolt for your oil filter goes. And then you have one last bolt that goes over here. And this is for your selector detent. This is like what keeps your selector in place. You notice how this hooks into this valve right here that comes with the kit. Just remember to put this in before you bolt down the valve body. Let's go hook something right here. You can bolt this in.
Alright, so
And now we're just putting on the last 3 bolts. So these just bolt right in through the valve body. And we're waiting to put this last one in, because for the solenoid you need 1 wire to go to the pass-through connector, which you'll give like a 12-volt signal to activate the trans brake. And then you can just ground this anywhere. So our transmission is going to be grounded, so just take this and ground it to the valve body right in here.
that's it.
Yeah. That goes between the pickup tube and the case, so just make sure you have that on there. And then you have another O-ring here. And then this is our new oil filter. So it's a lot different than stock, and it's really important you get this if you're doing a trans brake kit, because what happens with the stock oil filter, I'll show you guys. This is what a stock oil filter looks like. It has this big kind of paper-like filter on the inside, and it's really restrictive. And with the trans brake kit, it's running at very high oil pressures. So with that much restriction, what happens is eventually you'll hear like a whining sound, kind of like a power steering pump going bad. So if you hear that, it's probably because you have a restriction or you have like a oil pump failure. So you need to get upgraded oil filters. It just has this kind of brass filter right there.
It's from TCI.
Yeah, this one's from TCI. So.
Yeah. That's the part number there. I don't think so. Not sure.
Yeah. So this right here, you have your oil filter, and then you have your bolt and a spacer. Yep. So this just goes on here. It'll be easier. Just put the filter on first. And hold your spacer. Switch hands. Put your spacer here. Put your bolt through, and then your bolt threads into the top of your solenoid. Now, there's two schools of thought on this. So some people don't like to put a washer, and it allows the oil filter to ride with the level of the oil in the pan. And then some people like to put a washer here just to keep everything steady and keep the oil filter from falling off. So you can go whichever school of thought you like, and then just let it ride like that. So we ended up convincing ourselves it's better just put the washers on there, make this more stable. So now this is on, everything's snug. We put our new gasket on. So then you just put the oil pan on, like so. Make sure nothing's hitting, everything clears. And at this point, you would just put all your bolts in, tighten it up, and then, she's ready to go in. We're gonna end up putting drain bung on either the side or the bottom of the pan, just so if we ever need to do maintenance to the transmission, it's easy to just drain all the oil from it, and then you can just take the pan off and do what you need to do. But without one, when you take the pan off, it's just all the oil just flows out and makes a mess everywhere. So we're gonna put a bung on there, and then we'll wrap everything up.
All right, I'm excited.
Yep.
So all we gotta do now is just put the tail housing on there.
Yep, put the tail housing on there.
Put the tail housing, put the pan, and get this thing back in the car. All right, guys. She went together pretty easy. So my next thing on this car, I'm gonna be doing fuel cell, fuel lines, and I'm gonna just use pump gas. Look, my face is red. It's cold in here. It's really, really cold. All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. So comment, like, and subscribe.